Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today, we are going to continue the Srimad Bhagavatam series of first canto, chapter 15, Pandavas retired timely, verse number 14. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for giving your association to all of us today. You can please take over, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I just would like to mention that I think in India, the internet has a tendency to drop every once in a while here. So if you do, just be patient. I'll be back on.
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yad Bandavan Kuram Baladim Ananta. Yad Bandavan Kuru Baladim Ananta Param Eko Vatena Tatareham Adritya Sattvam Prayaritam Banudanam Janaya Paresham Tejas Padam Manimaya Charitam Sirobhyaha. Translation. The military strength of the Kauravas is like an ocean in which there dwell many invincible existences. And thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship, I, seated on the chariot, was able to cross over it. And only by his grace was I able to regain the cows and also collect by force many helmets of the kings, which were bedecked with jewels that were sources of brilliance. Purport. On the Kaurava side, there were many stalwart commanders like Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and Karna. And the military strength was insurmountable as a great ocean. Yet it was due to Lord Krishna's grace that Arjuna alone, sitting on the chariot, could manage to vanquish them one after another without difficulty. There were many changes of commanders on the other side, but on the Pandava side, Arjuna alone on the driven chariot by Lord Krishna could manage the whole responsibility of the Great War. Similarly, when the Pandavas were living at the palace of Virat in Kanira, the Kauravas picked a quarrel with King Virat and decided to take away his large number of cows. While they were taking away the cows, Arjuna fought with them incognito and was able to regain the cows along with some booty by taking by force the jewels on the sets on the turbans of the royal order. Arjuna remembered that all this was possible by the grace of the Lord. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pasyapyadina Satarine Vanshakapatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vichapapitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One who takes shelter of Krishna in devotion and acts in that way, there are no impediments to the execution of one's activities. No matter how inconceivable it may be, by describing it from material situations, when one who takes shelter of Krishna and receives the blessing of the Lord, the impossible becomes possible, and the possible becomes routine. This is because Krishna is the supreme controller and the supreme friend. If we carefully study, now you don't even have to carefully study, but if you take time to review the history of how Krishna consciousness was started by Srila Prabhupada and how it expanded in the world, you can only see one miracle after another. Some of the things that happened we don't even know, and gradually they're being revealed by the devotees who were involved in it. But the impossible became possible. The devotees were in dangerous, life-threatening situations that would be impossible for them to survive, but yet, by the grace of Krishna, they survived and came out victorious. Prabhupada came to America after having 2 heart attacks. No money really, only some rupees that were not spendable in the United States. No support, only one small little contact in Butler, Pennsylvania, which was a place he could only stay at for a limited time. And if you read the history, it is amazing, because Srila Prabhupada took full shelter of Krishna. And this applies eternally as the principle of success in all activities, especially in the activity of executing devotional service. How the devotees in Los Angeles were requested by Srila Prabhupada to take 15 books that he had written on Chaitanya Charitamrita, do all the editing, copyright, in all of the copying, all of the editing, all of the binding, all of the publishing in 1 month. Prior to that, they were doing 1 book every 2 months. Prabhupada came and told him, I have 15 books all ready to go. I want it done in 1 month. The devotee said, Prabhupada, that is impossible. Prabhupada said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. And Prabhupada knew that Krishna wants something, and if we depend on Krishna, or if the spiritual master has given us the instructions, if we execute our activities in that way, there is only success and victory. And that's how the Krishna conscious movement is spread. From the material perspective, calculating the way things happen, you can see it was practically impossible for this movement to be what it is today. But it's only by the grace of Krishna, when the devotees took shelter, prayed to Krishna, and worked enthusiastically to overcome all obstacles. Even in the material world, sometimes people who are in very difficult situations or try impossible feats, if they sometimes they pray to God, or they work in such a way as they ask God for his mercy, his support, they become victorious. And this is a very essential principle in the execution of Krishna consciousness. Devotees sometimes think, well, I'm not qualified to actually become a pure devotee. But when Prabhupada was asked, Srila Prabhupada, we are not qualified to execute devotional service. Some of his leading disciples said that. Prabhupada said, yes, that is correct, but I have created your qualifications. Which means that by the mercy of the spiritual mercy, Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangum lagate girim yat kripa taraham bande sigurum dinatarinam. It is explained that a layman can cross mountains, a dumb man can recite beautiful poetry, and a blind man can see the stars. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord coming through the representative of the Supreme Lord, the pure spiritual master. So sometimes we feel a little inept, unqualified to execute the services that have been given us, or even to do the basics. But these are just weaknesses of heart. They have no meaning in reality. It's impossible when you see some of the devotees that came from what was their previous lives, how much they were engaged in sinful and very self-destructive activities. But yet they had faith in Prabhupada when they came and started to execute it. That way, their good qualities started to manifest, and they were able to write books, open temples, make devotees, collect large amounts of money, and do wonderful things to spread the Krishna conscious movement. Well, this is not a material movement. It's not based on material calculations. It's simply based on complete faith in the instructions of the spiritual master and complete dependence on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Sometimes devotees think they're all so unqualified. Sometimes devotees would say to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I don't have any intelligence. Prabhupada said, well, then get some. He never was happy when people would give some reasons why they couldn't do what they were asked to do, or were always demeaning their own situation to make it sound like they were humble. But Prabhupada never really liked that at all. He completely discouraged it. He said, you just depend on Krishna and you're working on it. And that's how this movement spread. Prabhupada is the prime example. He was a pure devotee. There was no question about that. But still, the obstacles that he had to face were insurmountable. I was just reading today in one account given by one of his leading disciples, Gargamuni, describing some of the things that Prabhupada had to go through to spread this movement. How people conspired against him to destroy this movement. How people took action to make sure the things that he planned weren't happening. Prabhupada was always aware that he had to fight in order to make this movement. If you read, I suggest you read Giriraj Swami's "Let Me Build You a Temple." It's a nice account of how the Bombay temple, the land was secured, and the fight that the devotees had to undergo to do it. Prabhupada said it was a great victory. Because, this man, Mr. Nair, he had cheated 10 people previously. He had sold them, he had given them agreements, took their money, and then found legal ways to nullify the agreements without returning their money. He did it 10 times. But then he came up against Srila Prabhupada, and that was the last time. And Prabhupada said, and actually he died trying to cheat Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, Lord Nrsingadev killed him. So yeah, this movement will be successful if we have faith, and we will be successful, and we can also attain pure devotional service if we have faith in the instructions of the spiritual master and execute our activities in that mood of complete dependence on the Lord and with a complete enthusiasm to carry out our sadhana, our service. All of these things are all done through the Daivi Prakriti, or the spiritual energy. Devotees are not underneath the material energies when they perform the activities, but they have to take shelter, just like we see when, and now this is the month of Damodar, and you have the wonderful pastime of Yasoda, Krishna's mother. After Krishna stole butter and made a mess of the house, she tied him up, but she couldn't tie him up at the beginning. She was trying so hard to tie him up. She was getting more rope, tying it around his waist. But each time she tried to tie it, it was always 2 fingers too short. She added more and more rope, and each time it was always 2 fingers too short. So here is an example that the endeavor is there, but the permission of the Lord, the mercy of the Lord didn't come until, and only when the mercy of the Lord came was she successful in tying up little Gopal. Otherwise, it was not possible. To spread Krishna consciousness around the world is our goal. That's the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and he has empowered Srila Prabhupada to bring that movement into the world. And Prabhupada has gathered a group of disciples and empowered them to work on his behalf to spread the movement. And when Prabhupada was here for those 11 years, from 1966 to 1977, millions of books went out. millions of dollars were collected, 108 temples were opened, thousands of people became devotees, others became very favorable. So how was it possible with a band of hippies who basically didn't have much culture, needed just to learn how to do the basic things in life, could actually spread this movement so wide? It was only by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and by the empowerment of the Lord. The Lord gave his empowerment, and so many wonderful things happened. We're hearing that every day, even in our own lives. We're seeing how so many miraculous events are happening in the lives of the devotees. All of these things are simply the mercy of the Lord coming through the devotees. So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, always depend on Krishna and work with enthusiasm. These two things are inseparable. Our enthusiastic endeavor, which means to endeavor in the right way, intelligently, coupled by complete dependence on the mercy of the Lord, brings all success in all activities. Arjuna is giving the example here. Bhishma, to defeat just Bhishma alone, what to speak of Drona, Kripacharya, and Karna. Those four that are mentioned here were such powerful warriors. Bhishma could only die. Bhishma had the quality to annihilate the entire Pandava army. He was so powerful. Dronacharya was the military commander, and he was instructing others how to fight. Karna was invincible. Kripacharya also. These, just any one of them was greater than Arjuna. But Arjuna defeated all of them, but only because of the mercy of Krishna. So, so Arjuna is the primary one who fully depends on the mercy of the Lord and works in an enthusiastic way in all aspects of devotional service, will always be successful. The problem is we sometimes depend on our own intelligence, our own abilities, our own feelings of surety. Yes, I can do it. And then we find it's not always like that. And Krishna doesn't allow that. We just depend on Krishna. Sometimes people come to me and they ask, Maharaj, I have to give a class tomorrow. Please give me some mercy, some blessing, something. I say, just pray to Prabhupada and remember Prabhupada as you're giving the class. Think of Prabhupada every once in a while during the class. And every time people do that, they always say, yes, it was so nice. Just by remembering Prabhupada, everything became wonderful. So that is our success in Krishna consciousness. And we have the primary example with Arjuna. So that verse, Mukam karoti vachalam langu pagate girin yat kripa teraham bande sigurun divatarina, is not a hyperbole, an exaggeration. It is actually a feature of how Krishna consciousness works when one fully depends on the mercy of the Lord and the spiritual master. As it says, Yasya Devi Para Bhaktir, Yata Devi Tata Guru, Tasyaitam Vatite Kartam Prakasanantam Mahatmanaha. One who has implicit faith, not just faith, but that faith which is not breakable, in both Guru and Krishna, all the imports of all Vedic knowledge. Now that's a lot. Vedic knowledge is vast. And what is the imports? And there's the conclusions of all Vedic knowledge. In all aspects of Vedic expressions. All of those imparts are automatically delivered to the heart of that devotee who has that kind of dependence and faith on both Guru and Krishna and works in that way. So here we have this verse is very much important for devotees because sometimes devotees think, well, I can't do it, it's impossible. There are many more qualified people than me. So many reasons. Sometimes it's for not trying harder or not taking on some responsibility that could help bring about spreading Krishna consciousness. Many of the devotees in the early days, they even asked Srila Prabhupada, can I go here and try to start a temple there? Can I go here? Prabhupada always would say yes. He would be always enthusiastic when the devotees would approach him who want to spread Krishna consciousness. Because he knows this is how it works, simply by the enthusiasm of the devotee, using practical knowledge and understanding and complete dependence on the Lord, then everything becomes wonderful. That is Krishna consciousness. Because ultimately, Krishna is that power. He is the supreme power, just like when Prahlad Maharaj was being harassed by his father, Hiranyakashipu, and being killed in so many ways. Nothing could hurt Prahlad. Not even the hair on his head was ruffled by the attempts of his vicious father to destroy him. He was incredulous. Hiranyakashipu asked his son, where do you get your power from? And Prahlad immediately responded, my dear father, I get my power from the same place you get your power, the same place everybody gets their power. There's only one source, Vishnu. Of course, that wasn't very pleasing to Hiranyakashipu, but it actually is the absolute truth. That there is only one source of power, and that's distributed in many ways to different people on different levels accordingly. But in devotional service, a devotee only knows the mercy of the Lord and the instructions of the spiritual master. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the class, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. Maharaj, even I was thinking the same when you are talking about devotees have to take responsibility. I see many devotees are qualified to come forward and give class and or otherwise take up some responsible positions in temple or around me. But they don't come forward, and especially they feel very shy, especially Matajis. I feel even though they are very seniors and they have a lot of knowledge and they do a lot of service, they always try to be in the background doing services, not come into the foreground to lead the things. So yeah, that's what my observation is, Maharaj. I just want to share that.
Because people are looking for some comfort zone. They think if I can just find a comfort zone and make a decision. But it's not possible. You can't be comfortable in this world. It's not possible. Maya will not let you. You want to be comfortable, you have to be above the material energy. And to do that, you have to stay engaged in devotional service. And taking on responsibility means to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. As Srila Prabhupada said, this is a direct quote. He says, you make advancement in spiritual life by how much you take on responsibility to preach, to spread this Krishna consciousness. Now, this is meant for each and every devotee, not just a few who have some position or some previous sukritis or whatever. we could spread this movement fast, but devotees are too lazy. They're in their comfort zone. Or they spend so much time maintaining their material. And they always say that I have no time for spiritual life. Or I have only that much time. And therefore, we remain, what we say, in a position of not tasting the happiness of Krishna consciousness, which is very sweet and easily available for those who make an effort to increase their devotional service. We should always be thinking how to increase, either qualitatively or quantitatively. Not just quantitatively, but qualitatively, putting more quality in our chanting, in our relationships, in our study of the scriptures, in our execution of our services. Quantitatively think, what can I do to inspire others? I have a house, why don't I have home programs? Prabhupada says for every grihasta they should invite sannyasis to come, have a program, talk about Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and distribute prasadam, chant the holy names of the Lord. You have a house, use it. Don't use it just to live in. Then it's not a house, it's no better than a dog house. Dog lives in his house too. Dog can't hold programs for other dogs. So we need to understand that this process is very dynamic. And it's not just dynamic for one class of devotees, it's for everyone. Just like we were just on Yatra in Jagannath Puri, and there was 10,000 plus devotees who came. And the majority of them were grihastas. They had brought their families. There were little kids, there were tiny babies. There were so many people who just put aside everything just to come to this yatra, to chant and dance for 6 days and hear Krishna Katha and visit the holy places. Now that's an indication that people are serious. We need to do, this is also a very big part of our spiritual movement, to visit holy places, to hear from holy people at the holy places. We get comfortable, and then this comfortable means that we get lazy. And then Krishna consciousness, even the little things become so difficult to overcome. So we need to understand that, hey, let me see what I can do to spread Krishna consciousness. Let me get involved with some program, or let me start some program. There are devotees who are starting programs all the time, thinking of ways to inspire non-devotees in different categories of life. Even the animals maintain their families, so it's not a big success to maintain their family. Their success is to become Krishna conscious, not maintaining family life. That has to be done, but it shouldn't be the main thing in our life. You maintain your families nicely this life, you get a chance to do it in the next life. And you can do it life after life. Maybe you'll get the chance to become a dog, and so you'll have a bigger family. Or a pig, it has so many little piglets running around. So maintaining a family is no credit. The animals do it better than we do.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. We have a question on chat by Narsinga Leela Mataji. Hare Krishna, sometimes Matajis are not encouraged to come forward and do the service where they will mix with Prabhus, Guru Maharaja. Could you please share some thoughts where to draw the line? Because in our communities, we face such situations quite often. What is your mood for those situations? Thank you.
Let the Matajis come together as Matajis or ladies and do something in that way. If they feel it's too difficult to associate with or work with the men, then let them do something on separately. It's not that they have to, force themselves into that situation. If it becomes too difficult for whatever reason, then just do something else. But the point is, do something. Don't give up one thing and then don't take on another. Ladies can bind together in their own groups and do something. Or they can find a place where they can work easily without so much distress or being controlled by men that maybe are not sensitive to the ladies. They don't have to work in that. They're not really qualified. Let them work somewhere else and do something.
Mataji, hope that answers your question. Any more questions? Bhikkhu Prabhuji, yeah, please.
Who? Good. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And I believe you have had wonderful journeys. I have followed the massive scale of operation in Puri and how they can pull it off. It's a miracle. And rightly you say, the service and the mercy of the Lord. What I like to share with you, as a family, we are on the path of Krishna consciousness, doing what we can in our different age groups. But we are sympathetic to some charities in Vrindavan. And as a family, we have given them support of Lakshmi and served, like Food for Life, who teach girls only in Vrindavan to become better persons, Krishna conscious persons. And for many years, we have been with that charity. Recently, I came across this charity. It's a small cow protection by Man Bihari Mataji. And Dimple visited the place. She was impressed and she could do with support. And it has touched our family's heart that if it's a worthy cause to give support, but I believe you have seen it, or if you can give some comments on the situation and what support they could need, so we can try and do something about it. And I am quite happy to follow that.
Well, it says that one should always give in charity. One should never stop giving in charity. But giving in charity is in the different modes of material nature. So giving in charity to devotees who are engaged in programs to uplift, animals, in this case, cows, or give support to developing the care that the cows need, or taking care of children, or anything that is connected with devotional activity is recommended. So yeah, I don't know the specific program you're speaking about. I have no knowledge of that, but if your daughter says it was something worthwhile, then I would also agree with that.
Maharaj, firstly, is to establish the support, this trust. It's called Love Cows Trust. And she is running with a very tight budget in a tight space, rented. I saw a couple of videos, and I think once we get some history, or they say like a newsletter, which then can be sent around to devotees who want to help in protecting Krishna's cows. And if I, as I understand, it's a genuine cause. You know, here in UK, we get a lot of visitors from India promoting all the gaushalas. They collect.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's so many charities you can give to that are part of Krishna conscious programs. So if you're inspired by that, go ahead. That's all I can say.
Thank you. What inspires me is this little project in Vrindavan, because there are a lot of gaushalas who collect funds for India. I don't particularly support them because the money is then never accountable. But I would love to do something and hopefully get a background, historical knowledge, and then try and see how we can get support. I just wanted to share with you that.
All right, sounds like a noble endeavor.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? And please turn on your cameras if possible. It's nice to take darshan of all of you. Namrita Bhataji. Hare Krishna.
Something in the chat. We got 3 in the chat here.
I just read Maharaj. Singalila Mataji said thank you, and that's all.
Okay. Like we ran out of questions.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a question. So I was thinking like, suppose, for example, if I get a chance, or if we get a chance to give a class or talk openly in Bhakti Vriksha like that, but many devotees, or some people, or some Matajis or Prabhujis, they say that I'm not qualified to give class, all that. So how to overcome these type of feelings, like which object us not to do anything in Krishna consciousness?
Let them practice giving class at home. They can do it. They call some friends over and do a little satsang at the house. They can practice. If they feel overwhelmed in giving class in public, not everyone can give class in public anyway. Only certain people are chosen for that. So yeah, let them practice at home or practice with their friends.
Yeah.
Practical.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
I mean, before I was giving class in a public way, I was traveling in a vehicle, and I was with one other devotee, and we would stop and I would just give class to one devotee. And I was practicing giving class like that. That's before I actually started to engage in regular preaching. So yeah, wherever you feel comfortable, start off, get some practice, and get a working knowledge of the scriptures, develop some faith, and then depend on Krishna and go for it. I mean, when we're starting a family, yeah, everyone is enthusiastic. Oh yeah, let's have a child. But then again, we don't know what child we're going to have, whether it's going to be healthy, intelligent, or maybe a demon. Or we don't even, but still we go ahead and have the child anyway, because it's natural. It's natural to want to, to help other people. We do that in a material way, but the best way you can help people is give them Krishna consciousness. Why are we so shy or reserved or in that area?
Mhm.
Krishna has given everyone some ability. Understand the ability that Krishna gave you and try to use that particular ability to inspire others in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. Devotees, any more questions? Maharaj, as there are no more questions, can we chant a couple of rounds today as it is Ekadashi?
Yeah, I should mention tomorrow's classes with the...
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, I was about to mention that. So tomorrow's class is with Bhakti Sangha Japa group, and the verse number is 7th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 37. And the time is 20 minutes later than our regular time. It is 12:20 p.m. UK time and 5:50 p.m. for India. Thank you all for please join. I'll share the link in the groups. And
Okay,
thank you. Yeah, we can chat.
Okay, we can chant.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Ekadashi means chanting. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Danya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Sivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna. Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sri Vasani Gaura, Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Okay, my obeisances to everyone. Hope to see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Guru Maharaj.
I should mention one thing. At this yatra, they were cooking for 10,000 people, 3 meals a day, every day.
Hari Bol.
Full meals, not just, a few things, 5, 6, 7 preparations per meal every day. And they had to cook it, transfer it, and deliver it from a distance too. Cooking wasn't done nearby, but not on site. So it was totally inconceivable how they did that. They set up train tracks with cars, and they loaded gigantic pots on the train tracks and delivered the pots by train track to the sites. They made their own train tracks. The pots were so big that even you, Srimati, could sit in there and take a bath. And have a lot of room to swim around into. Even our friend Kopesh, he would fit nicely into one of these pots. So, the pots were huge. and they were cooking, nice preparations too, not just rice and dal, but other things. So yeah, when you're determined and you're organized, you can do so many things.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.